7th grade. It is English time. You probably have your math done and you are ready for English. We are doing pages 12 to 14 today, and you are in the thick of the Swiss Family Robinson book. You've done a lot already, and you have a few more pages to do yet, and I don't know how it's going for you. I haven't heard much from you guys on your book. I hope it's doing okay. I know this is not the most ideal way to do a book like this, but you guys have been doing well. Hang in there, you're getting close to being done with this book. All right, so page 12, it says to use your dictionary to discover the meaning of any unfamiliar words, then match the quote with its more common meaning. So on the left, you have 13 quotes out of your book. On the right side, you have how we would actually say it today. So we'll do the first several and kind of give you an idea of what to look for. The first one says, I put his morning dreams to flight. Okay, somebody's sleeping and they're flying, the dreams are flying away. So maybe they are waking up. Letter F says, I woke him up. That's what we would say. Number 2 says, their bonds were loosed. Okay, somebody's tied up and they're being loosed. Which one would you say goes with that? How about H? They were set free. They were loosed. Number 3 says to call a halt. If you tell your horses to halt, you want them to what? Stop. That's right. A is stop. And number 4 says we were early astir. So it's early in the morning, and astir means we were getting up, waking up. What would it go with? L says we got up early. I think that's the one you want, is we got up early. So that gives you an idea of kind of what you have what you need to be matching with. If there's something that you don't understand, maybe Google it, put the sentence in, and see if you can figure it out. Down at the bottom of the page, 14 to 19, a word has been italicized. Find the word in your dictionary and write the definition of the word as used in the sentence. It says, Turk and Juno, without pity for their youth or beauty, had worried all the rest. Your word that you're going to write a definition on is worry. All right, Turk and Juno are your dogs in the story, and worry is not, they don't want the definition of thinking about something, worried about something, I can't get over it, whatever, I'm just thinking and thinking about it. That's not the kind of worry. Think about dogs and find a definition that talks about maybe the dog's teeth or something like that. What had the dogs actually done? And if you Google that word, you should be able to find a definition. Number 15 says, we went on board, waiting in readiness either to land again or to quit the coast. Your word is quit. Number 16 is your word is row. It's not a row in the garden. It's not a rowing in your boat with a paddle. It's something else. All the poor beast could do was to help me make a row. The word ran, the boat was stored, we stepped aboard and ran for Cape Minster. The word ran is not something they did with their feet. It's something that a boat did. They were on the boat and the boat ran. All right, turn your page to page 13. Throughout the Swiss Family Robinson, Johann Wies uses figures of speech to help paint a mental picture for the reader. What's a figure of speech? A figure of speech is a way of adding beauty and force to writing by using a word in a way that is out of the ordinary or that means something different from what it actually is. The 4 figures of speech that they use are a simile, a metaphor, a personification, and a hyperbola. A simile is when you compare 2 different objects and use the word like or as. The glider soared like an eagle. glider and eagle were two different objects, and they used the word like. This one was like this one. A metaphor is when they say this was this. The glider was a soaring bird. They were a glider and a bird are two different things, and they said this was this. That's a metaphor. A personification is when you take a lifeless object, like they used clouds, and they said they wept. Well, a cloud doesn't cry, but they're making a point. It's an exaggeration. No, I'm sorry. It's giving a lifeless object human qualities. You could say the flower smiled, whatever. Flowers don't literally smile, but it was so bright and so pretty, you could say it was like it was smiling. And a hyperbola is an exaggeration. My eyes popped out. Well, not literally, but you're making a point that I was so excited or I was so scared, my eyes popped out. Those are the four different figures of speech. And the first part is they're giving you four verses out of the Bible, and each one of these is an example of one of these figures of speech. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Okay? This is a simile because they use the word like. It says, and this is an example of a simile because the word like is used to compare a man with says a man shall be like a what? Tree. A man is not literally a tree. Number 2 says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Okay, two unlike objects saying one is something else is a metaphor. God's name is called a tower. God's name and a tower are not literally the same. Number 3 says, the voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. They're talking about Cain and Abel. And they're saying that Abel's blood is given a human quality. Blood cannot cry. Only people cry. And number 4, rivers of water run down mine eyes. This is an example of a hyperbola. Because the writer who's writing said he was crying or he was shedding tears. The amount of water he was crying was not literally a river, it was an exaggeration. He was making a point. Now, on the page 14, your examples are out of your book, The Swiss Family Robinson, and you are to decide if it's a simile, a metaphor, a hyperbola, or a personification. Remember, simile, watch for words like or as. Personification is, a metaphor is where they say two unlike objects are the other. Personification is where they take a lifeless object and give it a human quality, where it's actually, my tears were a river, something like that. And a hyperbola is an exaggeration, something that did not literally happen, but you're making a point. And then down at the bottom, page 14, you have 4 more chapters to read. You should be getting close to the end of your book. And I'm not sure how much more you have to read. Actually, maybe these are your last pages. Your last chapters. I don't see that you have to read anymore. Yay! I know you're excited about that. Looks like you're finishing up your book today. So, after you have that done, you'll have a couple more pages yet answering questions about the Swiss Family Robinson, but you'll be done with your reading. That's exciting. All right. See you tomorrow.